I'm Casey, aka Queso, and today I am talking about online counselling services. I just want to say as well that I'm not going to talk about on here what I've been talking about with the counsellor, because I don't think that's really important. The purpose of this video is to honestly review this service so that hopefully I can help other people if they want to have some online counselling. So I thought that this would be a good video and an apt video really for people at this time, because I know a lot of people are unable to see any kind of counsellor or therapist if they were before the lockdown, or even if people are feeling down or have worries and things and need to talk to someone now due to lockdown because of stresses of COVID or stresses of being stuck inside their house. So I thought that this would be a good video in giving people advice and help with that so that they can find the right online counselling program for them. Obviously as well, I thought it would be beneficial to me. I've never personally had counselling or therapy before, but as I was doing this I realised that I could do a free trial of counselling, and obviously that was a win-win because I was able to create this video and tell people about my experience, and it was also beneficial to myself. The service that I have been using for the past week is BetterHelp. And basically I knew nothing about this when I found it. I literally just typed in on Google online counselling services and I looked through a few of them, and then BetterHelp is the one that I decided that I was going to try, especially the fact that it did have the free trial, just because I had no idea what to expect really, so I didn't want to get straight into like a monthly subscription, just because I had no idea what it was really going to entail, as I've never had counselling. However, just before my first session with the counsellor I was paired up with, I decided to look more into BetterHelp because I started to get really nervous about the prospect of having a session and talking to someone, and I had no idea what was going to happen. And then when I searched it up, I came across a lot of videos, especially from major YouTubers around a year to 2 years ago, where they've been absolutely laying into BetterHelp and giving it the worst reviews ever, saying that it's unreliable, saying that it's monetized and that it's all just for them having money and things like that. So then I was really scared, and I didn't have a clue about any of this until I'd already signed up. So yeah, I'm just going to give you my honest opinion and my honest review based off this week, and I will touch on some of the things that people have previously complained about, and if I've noticed any changes to that now, as it has been a year to 2 years since those things had been raised. Basically on BetterHelp, when you first sign up, you can input what kind of counsellor you'd like. So you can say if you want them to be religious, if you want them to be male, female, older than 45 years or not, and then you also specialise what areas you want them to have experience in. So there could be trauma, there could be depression, there could be addiction, there's all sorts of categories on there. So yeah, you can choose the kind of counsellor you'd like and the kind of specialism they have, which I thought straight away that was very good. I was matched up with my counsellor within the first, I'd say, 2 hours, and I was a little bit surprised because the counsellor that I've been matched up to, she lives in Texas. So I was a bit concerned because obviously there's a 5-hour time difference, so I wondered how that would affect talking to her or our sessions. And when I asked her about this, she said there are counsellors in the UK, but obviously for what I'd asked of a counsellor, then she must have been the one who was most available at that time, so I'd just been matched to her even though she was in Texas. So I was apprehensive at first about that, and then I also also looked on my settings, and you can actually change counsellor at any time if you want to. And if you change your counsellor, I don't know how many times this would happen, possibly it's only twice, because I ended up that I didn't change my counsellor. But basically, if you change it, you do get another 7-day free trial with that counsellor to see if you're, you know, compatible and working well together before you commit to a subscription. So I thought that was really good as well. I mean, as I say, I didn't end up changing counsellor, but at first I was a bit apprehensive, especially at the fact that she was so far away in the time difference. But I guess especially because I'm up quite late at the moment, it's actually been working out very well. Okay, so basically once a week you have a session with your counsellor. That can be a 50-minute messaging session. So, you know, it's literally just like if you're on Messenger or on text. But I thought it was quite good as well that when you're typing your message, you can change this setting if you don't want it to be like this. But basically, as you write your message, it shows the counsellor what you're typing as you type it. So that obviously does save time because it's 50 minutes and typing can take time. So that means that once you've typed however much, even if you're continuing, your counsellor will likely start typing their response as well. So it saves a lot of time. So I thought that was good. You can also have a 30-minute video call or a 30-minute phone call. So you pick out of those every single week and you pick the time that best suits you. They have a whole schedule and it will say all of the times they're free, and then you can pick what time suits you. So you have one of those sessions once a week, and then through the week you can actually message your counsellor about any issues you have or anything that you want to discuss, or even anything you just want to share with them. Like, I've been sharing a lot of positive things with the counsellor that I've had. I've got some exciting news that's going to be coming up, but that will be in another video. So yeah, I've been talking to her about a lot of things because I think it's important to build up a rapport with the counsellor and, you know, not always just be having those dark or deep conversations together. And my counsellor has been amazing. So basically I'll send a message and then she can reply whenever. So it's not, whereas in the session you have a 50-minute timer and you're writing back and to each other continuously for that 50 minutes. It's only you two talking. Whereas when you leave messages through the week, she will be obviously having sessions with other people and doing other things, but then when she comes to her messages, she will reply as and when she can to the things that you've said, or he. And to be honest, I've been bombarding my counsellor so far and I do feel bad about that, but she honestly, I have been so surprised by how supportive she's been. She is responding to my messages probably at least twice a day, and she responds, you know, within a few hours, and they're not like short responses, or she's really caring about what I'm saying. And I keep saying to her, you know, stop rushing to reply so quick. Like, I feel bad that I'm messaging so much as it is. I just want to tell her all different things, and I keep saying, you know, just honestly wait until you're free, because that's something as well, that on those messages you can mark it as urgent, and if it's marked as urgent they'll reply to you a lot quicker because obviously it's more important than other messages. But I obviously don't mark any of these kinds of messages as urgent, so I keep saying stop rushing to reply, like it's okay, but she's like no, it's fine, this is part of my job. So, you know, it's very nice of her. Your counsellor will also give you worksheets, and you don't have to do these, but I did find them quite helpful. The first one that I had was a self-exploration worksheet where it asks sort of what's most important to you, and you rate, you know, family, friends, relationships, work, lifestyle, health, all things like that, and then you answer questions about them as well. You can say that all of them are a 5 and they're all equally important if you want, and then you put the reasons why, or obviously you can say some things are more important to you than others. These are just things that can help your counsellor get to know you better. And I've also done one where I wrote about what I want to get out of the therapy. So I think it was 3 things that I wanted to get out of it, and then I had to discuss the 3 things in more depth. and why and things like that, and that also then gives your counsellor a focus of why you've come to them and what you want to look at. And then also I've just been given one which is all about positives, so it's positive things about yourself. So say a time when you were wise, a time when you were brave, a time when you were loving, all these things, and obviously that's nice for yourself to reflect on and, you know, pick out these memories and times when you've done those things and help you feel positive about yourself. So I think it's very good. You have worksheets as well that you can do in your own time. As I say, there's no pressure to do them, but obviously it's just up to you. So yeah, I was given the worksheet asking what I wanted to gain from therapy before our first session, and then when it came to the session I was given a reminder 1 hour before via email. So on my first session I've only had one so far because that's all you get with the free trial, but we didn't really go into things very deeply. I had briefly mentioned some things I wanted to talk about with her during therapy, and at first on that session I was sort of thinking, why are we not addressing, like, you know, the things that I've said, but I actually realised it was for the best. So basically the counsellor was asking me all sorts of questions but keeping it quite light, like all questions about myself as a person, my life, all things like that. She responded really naturally. None of her responses felt like they were from, you know, from a textbook or anything. She even told me some things about herself, which I thought was really nice because it meant I could relate to her easier. And I realised that that was really important as a first session, because if you're talking about deep things or things that are important or issues to you, then it is scary if it's a stranger. I remember I almost sort of didn't even go on the session because I was panicking so much before it. I had no idea what to expect. I didn't know this person really, although I'd messaged slightly throughout the week leading up to it. And so then that session was really helpful because I felt like she got to know me really well and I got to know her. So I think maybe it can be frustrating to people, especially if they're using the trial and then they're not thinking of going further and they're hoping to get some instant sort of help. They might be frustrated, but at the end of the day obviously it's these counsellors and therapists' job, and I don't think it's really the mindset to go in with that you're just going to use the free trial and sort of use their service to help you really quickly. If you've enjoyed their free trial and you've got to know the counsellor, you feel compatible and you know you feel that they're able to help you, then that's obviously when the help would start, is when you start a subscription, and I think that's fair enough, to be honest. Also, the payment plan is you can pay £50 a week. So if you're not sure if you want to have a monthly subscription, then you could do like 1 week again after the free trial, but that is £50 and that does obviously cost more than the other subscription types. You can then subscribe monthly for £35 a week, which is I think £140 a month. Or I think you can subscribe for 3 monthly, which is £25 a week. But also, this is very interesting and I was pleasantly surprised, you can also apply for financial help. So I applied for that because I have had a positive experience and I thought that I would like to continue for 1 month and see where I go from there with this. And I put in all of my information. Obviously I'm living at home at the moment, I'm not working, I'm with my mum who's shielding, I'm a student going back to university, so I put all those details in and basically I got 25% discount. So now I think it's £25 a week, so it's like £105 for this month. I mean, it's still not cheap, but when you have constant contact with your counsellor through the week and you have a session every week, I personally think it's worth it. I mean, maybe people can't afford it long term, I honestly don't know if I can, but I think having at least that month, hopefully I would be able to get some advice and things off the counsellor. Also, there were some issues I think that people were saying regarding the reliability of the therapists, if they are well qualified, things like that. When I've looked on the T's and C's, it does strictly say that only 15 to 20% of applicants actually get accepted onto BetterHelp. I don't know if this was the case a year or 2 years ago, but it gives you all of the information about your counsellor when you're matched. So it says all of their qualifications, information about things that they've done and their specialisms. I asked my counsellor how long she's been a therapist for, and she said that she qualified with her masters in counselling. I can't remember if it's a specific type now, but she qualified with that in 2012, and that she's been doing this ever since. She also works in her own office as a therapist, but then she also does this online. So you know, I found that she's been very open and honest about qualifications and the time that she has had doing this job. So I personally, again, haven't had any issues there. Reviews have said they have struggled sometimes to get on with their counsellor. Some counsellors, they found that if they've been on a call, the counsellor, you can hear like the supermarket in the background or the TV and things like that, and that when they've sent messages through the week outside of the session, that they've been very unresponsive. And you know, that is obviously awful. That is not good at all. But I mean, the fact that you can change counsellor, and the fact that after that first week, if you change, you will get another week free trial with someone else, I think that's very positive. And I feel like, you know, everyone is different. Some counsellors will be better than others. I've been so lucky that I've landed on my feet with mine, that she is so kind, so supportive, you know, really attentive to my messages and things when she can be. But everyone is different. Some counsellors will be better than others, but again, I just feel like maybe you can't tar the whole platform with the same brush in that respect, because there are, obviously, as I found, there are some very good therapists on there. It's just the luck of the draw, I suppose, as to who you get as your counsellor. Find it interesting as well, because I know that a lot of negative reviews as well were saying that it's wrong that it is advertised on YouTube, because you know, it's mostly things that are on adverts is things that are going to be sold, and you know, it's all about money and profit. But at the same time, this is their job, you know, all of these therapists, it's their job. Or even if they do have two jobs like my counsellor, it's still, you know, half of their income or whatever that is. The company obviously still has to pay the people that run the company and that run the app and run the website. When I sent money about financial help, they replied to me within 1 day, and they say that they always will do that within 1 working day. So I feel like maybe it is the wrong way to go about it, to advertise it on YouTube, but I think it is difficult because they obviously need to get the word out, and they need to get people to start having these counselling sessions, because otherwise they couldn't run without being paid. I mean, at the end of the day, most counsellors and therapists you'd see face to face, you know, you're going to pay them for that because it's their job, and you know, it's not that they don't care, but they have to be paid in order to work and to survive and have their own life. And I think that's fair enough, and I think the price of the counselling therapy sessions I've been very pleasantly surprised at. Also, it is very interesting that there are groupinars, they're called, where basically I'd say there's probably about 15 a week, 10 to 15 a week I've found. They're on all different subjects. There's employment, there's relationships, self-esteem, like anxiety, depression, overall wellness. And those groupinars, basically, they're professional psychologists or therapists who run them, and they have PowerPoints on them. So I've already done one that was building blocks to happiness, and she talked all about a theory called PERMA, and I found that really, really helpful. It was all about positive psychology and having a positive mindset and ways to make yourself and sustain feeling happy. So there was a PowerPoint where she was going through everything. You could also see her face on a camera, and then there's also a comment section, so you can talk to other people. Your name is anonymous, and you can discuss things with each other as she or he is going along. Also at the end, usually they take questions, so you can write questions in the comment section, and then live, those people running them will answer the questions, which I thought was really interesting. I listened into one and actually got one of my questions answered, which I just found like unfathomable, because so far all of the webinars I've listened to, or groupinars, they've all been by people in America. I don't know if that's always the case or if I've just listened to those and it's a fluke, I don't know. But I just found it amazing, like the fact that they're doing that. I think they were in Florida and I've sent a message live and they've answered it immediately and seen my question all the way here in Wales when they're in America. I don't know, I'm just mind blown by the tech. Okay, I should be used to this at 22. This is the world I live in, and that we all live in. But I just thought that was really cool. Also, most of the time on the groupinars, the people that have ran them will give you their email or like links to, if they have a website, or links to their Instagram. So say for the happiness one, she has an Instagram that she told us. I've since followed that, and you can sign up to a free week-long like Glow Your Goddess, I think it's called, where, you know, it's to sort of, you know, get their mojo back and their confidence and grow in their happiness. And that, again, it's been emailed to me, and that is completely free. And then I listened to another one who had a website which you can go on, and they offer free resources as well and videos. The lady who did the happiness webinar, she also has a podcast on Spotify, so I'm going to listen to that. So, you know, not only do you have every week the opportunity to listen to those groupinars and learn a lot about all different areas and talk amongst other people and ask questions, you often are led to other mostly free resources outside of BetterHelp through those groupinars, which is very, very helpful. I think, you know, that's really, you're paying for a service, but you're also getting access to things that you otherwise wouldn't in other areas and services as well. So I thought that's very positive. This review is going to sound so biased and overly positive, but it's because I honestly don't have anything negative to say. I literally found this website of my own accord, and I have found it very helpful in this week, and I have subscribed to another month to see how that goes. And I just wanted to still make this video, although I was a little bit nervous, because having seen the negative feedback, I didn't want people to be coming down on me like, how can you say this is a good platform when all of these other people previously have said that there's issues with it. But, you know, this is just my own personal experience right now, and I can't really fault it. I can't fault my counsellor, I can't fault the groupinars, I can't fault the price really and the financial help that I've been given. And I just really hope that maybe it can help some people, because as I say, it is a free trial initially anyway, so, you know, there's no harm really in anyone giving it a go. They also do email you on the last day of your free trial and say, you know, do you want to continue or do you want to cancel? So it's not like they just don't remind you and then you're suddenly looped into paying a month's fee or anything like that. They're very honest, which I thought was very good, because that would have put me off if, you know, I just suddenly woke up and been like, oh my god, I forgot, and now I'm on a monthly thing. They haven't reminded me in the week at all. And also, I just want to clarify, as I say, I've never had counselling, I've never been to therapy. I don't know if I'd say even that I particularly need it, but I think it can be helpful to anyone. We can all grow as people, we can all learn things about ourselves, learn to cope with things, we can talk through things that we might otherwise find difficult with other people and move on from things. And I think it's important to know that obviously, if you have a diagnosed mental health condition, then therapy is very beneficial, and if you're unable to do this face to face at the moment, I would say going online is helpful, even if it's just in the short term until you can get back to that familiar person you've been having therapy with. But I think it's important to note as well that you don't have to have a mental health condition to have counselling, you know, or to find the benefit from it. I think that I found it very beneficial, even though I don't have any kind of mental health problem. and I think it's just really useful to anyone who has any kind of worries or stress, or is striving for self-improvement, or having someone there to talk to openly and freely. So yeah, I think it's something that anyone could do. I think as well, some people probably are too scared to go to the doctors, or to go to, you know, a private therapist, or to try and be referred to anyone through their doctors, because they are embarrassed if they have any kind of worries or issues, or they do possibly have a mental health condition, especially say if it's something like anxiety, then they're going to be too nervous to go and talk about it because they have anxiety. So it's a vicious cycle really. Whereas if you're using this app, then nobody actually has to know except you and the therapist. It's all online. It is 18 and over though, I will just say. If you are 18 and over and you're too nervous to go face to face, even if you did this for a few months to try out and sort of see what it's all about, and then you perhaps move to face, or, you know, try to get a referral to something else. I just think that it is probably beneficial for people who really need that help but are too scared to ask for it, because there's a lot more anonymity, and not anonymity with the counsellor. I mean, obviously you tell them as much or as little as you want, but there's nothing to worry about because they're bound by confidentiality unless you are at immediate risk or someone else is, which of course makes sense. So yeah, I think it's very good in that sense. And yeah, I just really hope that this video maybe has helped some people. I think a lot of people maybe haven't even thought about counselling online per se. People know about counselling and about therapy, but I think it is still very a new age concept that it can go online. And I do think, I was skeptical at the beginning as to whether it would work with someone who's in America. You know, how can I form this relationship? How can I really get help and advice and things with someone who's halfway across the world? You know, it just does seem very strange at first, but I am finding so far that it's really, really beneficial. So yeah, so I will link BetterHelp down below. There obviously are other online counselling services, but I have not tried any others because this is the first one I tried and I am already happy with that. As I say, it has a free trial. There might be others with free trials, so it's just worth exploring the internet if BetterHelp doesn't sound like it's for you. So yeah, I just hope that everyone is still staying safe. I hope everyone's staying positive. I hope everyone is looking to the future. This isn't all going to last forever. The pandemic does seem to be easing at the moment, but at the same time we can't get our hopes up too much because, you know, there could always be a second wave, for example, as winter approaches. I'm not trying to be negative there, I'm just trying to be realistic, but I think it's important that people put things in place to keep themselves emotionally happy and stable, and at least look to the future for exciting things you're going to do. No matter how long this is, the pandemic isn't going to last forever. There are services and resources out there that can support and help you, not even in the form of counselling. There's a lot of things you can read online, and I can talk about video and written resource material in another video if you want me to, things that are out there that can help people right now. And yeah, I just really hope that this video might have helped someone. So stay safe and stay positive, and I'll see you soon. Bye!